I got a lot of creative pursuits going on, so we're just taking the timeline as it goes. The yarn company whose name continues to escape me every time I talk about this yarn. Ow. I love it. Hi, and welcome to the Yarn Crafts with Allison podcast. I'm Allison, and today we are going to be talking about what I've been knitting the last little bit here. Yesterday was Thanksgiving here in the US. We already have our Christmas tree up because I have a 2- and 3-year-old, and making Christmas whimsy is one of my favorite things of being a mom. So sit down, grab your knitting, and we'll talk about what I've been working on. So the first thing I want to talk about is my 2 finished objects. So, well, one finished object and one kind of finished object. We'll talk about the actual finished object first. So these are a pair of mittens that I made for my daughter. These are the World's Simplest Mittens by Tin Can Knits. And so last year I made my daughter this Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. It is Knit Picks Hawthorne in the color Turkish Delight. And I just held it single. It's a fingering weight yarn. I just held it single and made her this lovely Musselburgh hat. For anyone who isn't familiar, it's basically a long closed tube and you fold it inside itself. Let's see here. It inverts inside itself, and then, almost. And then this is actually, I made this long enough that I can then fold it up a second time. So it's a fingering weight hat, but it's 4 layers at her ears. So this is incredibly warm. She loves this hat. She picked out the color last year, and she had recently outgrown her mittens that were just random store-bought mittens. So we ordered a new skein of this yarn, and I held it double. So these are DK weight little mittens for her. So that's my first finished object. This pattern, I've made this pattern a few times. I made this pattern in a dark gray for my sister last year for Christmas. I made these in a light blue for my son. I think in my last podcast I had talked about those, and then I now have done this pattern a 3rd time. So she's really loving them. She's wearing them a bunch. So now she has her little matching hat and mitten set for as the weather gets colder here in Ohio. So that's finished object number 1. Now finished object number 2 is technically a finished object, but these are socks for my husband, and I had finished, these have been on my needles for quite a while. This is the Slow Morning DK socks. I'll put it up here. And I was making the second size, the medium size, which I think is a 52-inch cast on. And these are for my husband. They're DK weight, and I had finished the first one of these when we were on vacation in September. I'd had him try it on. He said he liked the fit. I said okay, he gave it back to me. I made the second sock. I finished the second sock last night, and he was wearing them this morning, and I looked at his feet. I said, so they really fit you? They fit you really well? They seemed like they would have been short. And he was like, no, they fit me great. And I looked, and my poor, sweet, lovely husband, his heel, so I did these as kind of a shorty. So it's a short row heel. Here's where the heel should have been. And my poor husband's heel was like up here, so it was all stretched and warped. And so I said, I'm gonna take those back and I'm gonna make them longer so they actually fit your feet. So I don't really know what happened. I really thought the first one fit his foot back in September. I guess I just must have not looked closely and just trusted when he said, oh, it fits great. The circumference is wonderful, which I think may have been what he was paying more attention to versus where the heel actually hit him. So we're gonna unpick the toes and make these like, I don't know, probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches longer. I don't know what happened there. These really fit my feet and not his. So I don't know what happened there. So I'm gonna have to fix that, because I don't know what happened. Did I look at the camera a single time while I was talking about these socks, or have I just been staring down here the whole time? Oh well. Those are my 2 whips, and I have 4 works in progress to talk about today. So the first one is my Musselburgh hat. This is for me. This is a Madeline Tosh fingering weight yarn that I bought on vacation. And as you can see, I am continuing to make quite a bit of progress. Right now, I'm basically only knitting on this in church. It rolls up so small, it's really lovely. I just put it in my little purse and I just knit on it during church. I need to measure it because I'm not quite to where I'll be finished, but I think I'm getting close enough that I need to measure it and just figure out how much more length I need so that I don't unintentionally make it way, way long. I'm still kind of trying to decide if I want to be able to fold it a second time the way I did with my daughter's hat. I think I do, but I'm really enjoying working with this. It's a single ply, which I haven't worked with a lot of like single ply yarns. I'm hoping that it doesn't get too like terribly pilly too quickly. So we'll see how this wears, but I want to say this is a 90%. It's like a 90-10 merino and nylon, I want to say 90-10, 80-20, I don't remember now, but making good progress on this. We'll continue to check in. So I have my 2 sweaters to talk about also. So first we'll talk about my Pearl sweater by Magdalena Parker. I'm really having to trust my swatch and trust the process here because this thing looks so small, and I'm not going for a ton of positive ease, but I was going for some. Now this sweater that I'm wearing right now is, you know, it's pretty oversized, so I look bigger than I actually am here, but I'm really having to trust that my swatch was accurate. And I mean, it does stretch out quite a bit, but I'm having to trust the process. So I have joined under the arm. I split for sleeves, or I joined for sleeves. This is a drop shoulder, so I joined for the sleeves. And I've done about this much since joining under the arms. So I was working on this quite a lot. A few weeks ago, I took myself on a little knitting retreat, kind of. That's kind of what I was calling it. It was just me in a hotel room for 2 days, just hanging out and watching knitting YouTube and having snacks and knitting for a day and a half. My sister joined me for part of the day, part of one of the days, and we had a fun time. But it was just a lovely little retreat for myself, and I had a lot of fun. And I made it my goal for that weekend. I was working on the blue socks a little bit, but I was primarily working on this sweater and my other sweater that I'll show you in a minute. But if you haven't been here, I'll talk about what this sweater is. So this is the Knitonomy Pearl sweater by Magdalena Parker. It's an all over cabled sweater with this beautiful, beautiful seed stitch as 1/2 of the cables. So it just adds this extra little like whimsical feminine detail that I really, really love. This yarn is Sprout DK by the yarn company whose name continues to escape me every time I talk about this yarn. It's in the color natural. I'll put the name of the company on the screen. Fiber Seed. Fiber Seed, that's what it is. The Fiber Seed. Wow, I'm so proud of myself for remembering it. But this is 75/25. 80/20. I don't remember. It's a merino blend. It's not terribly important to me what there's a small amount of nylon in it, but I don't really care. We've talked about this sweater several times. I love it. I'm really, really just hoping that it really is gonna block that much, because I don't want to have wasted my time. But I'm going off of my swatch. I was good. I did a good swatch. It was fairly big. So I'm just trusting the process with this one, because boy oh boy, does it look small. So pray for me. Fingers crossed that all works out. But I haven't touched this one in a week or two because I've been focusing on getting that blue sock done. I'm working on some other gift knitting, so which we'll get to in a minute. But that is my Knitonomy Pearl Sweater by Magdalena Parker. Can't wait for this one to be done. If I didn't have gift knitting I wanted to get done, I would be putting all my energy into this so that it's ready like for Christmas time, but that's just not going to happen. This is my first big cable project in general. I'm really just taking my time and enjoying the process, so I'm not rushing it. If I'm being honest with myself, I probably won't get to wear that sweater until next fall when it starts to get cool again. We're setting realistic goals. I'm a mom of 2 very small children, and I teach dance. I'm running a Christmas choir at my church right now. I got a lot of creative pursuits going on, so we're just taking the timeline as it goes. So my next project I want to talk about is my Haru V-neck sweater. I think I did talk about this one. Shift here. I think I did talk about this one in my last podcast. No, I can't remember. I think I had. I think maybe my last one I said I wanted to knit this pattern again and I hadn't cast on yet. Either way, this is where I'm at. It's an all over stockinette pattern. It's got this really pretty like crossover V-neck detail that I really love on my other one that I knit last spring, finished last spring. So that's how much of the body I've got done. And I'm holding these are 2 discontinued Yarn Bee hand-dyed yarns. This one is this like pale pinky beigey color. It's really not showing up on camera at all, the like variation in color. And then there's these blue specks in it, which are really, really pretty. Let's see if I can, there we go. You can see it a little better now. You can see like some of the pinks coming through. And then this is a tonal, just slightly tonal, pinky purpley color. And I'm holding them together to make a DK weight gauge. And it's making this such, oh man, I'm not gonna get it to show up on camera. Oh, maybe. That's, oh, now it's washing out. You can kind of see it here. It's just making this beautiful, like, marled, pinky, purpley, blue speckles thing. So I'm working on the body right now. When I get to the end of these skeins, which the purple's gonna run out before the lighter color. When I run out of that one, I'm gonna put these stitches on hold and I'm gonna go ahead and pick up for the neck. So this one, it's a V-neck. I'm gonna pick up from here and go around, and I'll stop over here and leave these stitches blank, and you knit a pretty wide neckband, and then you cross them over to make this like this crossover V-neck that I find really pretty. It's a 1x1 situation. So I've still got quite a ways to go on the body. I've got a good amount of length in the body. I haven't tried it on in a minute, but I want this one to be pretty long. I want this to fit me like a big cozy sweatshirt. is kind of the idea for this one. So I've got a ways to go, but kind of plodding along. I haven't touched this one since I think I've knit on it a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but I've mostly been focusing on other things, finishing those mittens for my daughter before the weather got really cold, finishing those socks that now are not finished. But this one will definitely be finished before the season is over so that I can actually wear it this cold season, because it's only the end of November. I've still got a few months of sweater wearing ahead of me. Probably into April I'll be able to wear this sweater, I would guess. That's my Haru V-neck sweater. And my last thing I want to talk about is a little bit of gift knitting. So we're on a pretty tight budget for Christmas this year. And so I told my sisters, you know, we're going to be doing a lot of handmade gifts this year. But I don't want to just knit you something and just have it be a total surprise and hope you like it and it ends up being something you don't like. That's always my fear with gift knitting, to be like that weird aunt that knits that just makes you stuff you don't want, but then you keep out of obligation. I don't want to be that person in people's lives. So I asked my sister both of my sisters, I said, what would you like for Christmas? If I were to make you something, what is something that you would want? And my one sister, I'm gonna make her a couple of pillows. She's got her first apartment, and I'm gonna be making her some like pillow covers. But this, oh, it looks so great on camera. This is gonna be a little market bag tote. I'll put it up on screen because suddenly the name of the pattern is escaping me, but it is looking so cute on camera. Oh my gosh. So this, I enjoyed the construction of this. So this is knit. You do a bottom panel, you start at one corner, and it's actually knit on the bias, and you're going on the bias, doing increases and decreases to do the shaping. And then I had to pick up all these stitches around, and now I'm knitting up. So that was fun. I don't think I've ever knit. I've crocheted some bags before a long time ago. I've never knit a bag. So I've enjoyed the process of learning a new construction. So after you pick up the stitches, you do like, I think it was 16 more rounds in the garter stitch. And then you start this lace pattern with these it's like these little traveling stitches. And this is gonna be so cute. I think I've done, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm in the middle of the 4th repeat. It's a 4-row repeat. I'm in the middle of the 4th repeat, and I think there's 12 total, plus another, then there's a little section of garter at the top where you make the handles, and it gives a little more structure at the top. But this is, oh my gosh, it's so cute on camera. So the yarn I'm using for this is a Lion brand yarn that is also discontinued. I realize I work with a lot of discontinued yarns, but I like to shop sales. I like to go to Hobby Lobby when they're discontinuing stuff and swoop in and get 2 cartfuls of really inexpensive yarn, because that's how I like to operate. I like a deal. So, but this is the Let's Get Cozy Lazy Days by Lion brand. And this is the color Wood Rose. So it's a chainette yarn. It's 100% polyester, so she's gonna be able to wash it just fine. And it seems like it's gonna be really hard wearing. The bottom, the very bottom panel plus the little bit of garter stitch going up was done on 3.75 millimeter needles, and then when I got to the lace portion, it had me change my needles to a 5.5. So it goes up 4 needle sizes, but I mean, it's working out really well. Man, I cannot get over how good it looks on camera. Wow, I love it. So as far as I know, my sister doesn't watch my videos. After she showed me the pattern she wanted and we picked out the yarn, she went in my stash and picked out yarn. She told me after that she doesn't want to see it at all. She doesn't want updates. She just wants to be surprised as much as she can, which I can respect. It does take some of the magic out to like talk to people beforehand and, you know, figure out what they want and make something that they tell you they want. But then I'm gonna end up with an end product that I know she's going to like and I know she will use. So I'm okay with that. I think it's a good trade-off. I think that's all I have to talk about today. I just did a great big haul of Knit Picks yarn. They were doing a $2, $4, and $6 yarn sale. And that's actually when I bought the yarn for the mittens. This one was not part of that sale, but it was discounted. I think this was like $9 for this skein, but everything else I bought, it was a big old box. Everything else I bought was $2 yarns. So I got 5 sweaters quantities of yarn for myself. So there were 4 of them were Wool of the Andes by Knit Picks as a worsted weight yarn, and I have several colors of it. And then I got 1 sweaters quantity of Knit Picks palette for myself, which is a fingering. I got enough to hold it double. And then I got enough for a cabled sweater for my son, and I'm gonna do a really cool stripy colorful sweater for my daughter. I'm gonna make a plans video coming up soon to outline some gift knitting and just some things I have on the docket and just kind of plans I've got going around in my head, mostly for my own benefit, so I can kind of figure out what's coming next after my gift knitting. So I'll probably do a whole acquisitions section in that, because I have a couple patterns picked out for those sweater quantities, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to try a new yarn and get some colors and get some sweaters quantities, because since casting this on, this was the last sweaters quantity for myself left in my stash. Thank you for being here. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you being here. Let me know what you're going to be gift knitting this year, if anything, what your approach is to gift knitting. I would love to hear. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Did I look at the camera a single time while I was talking about these socks, or have I just been staring down here the whole time? Oh well.